Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dominic Peterson, aka Doug's on 503, talking all things Oregon football. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed already, go and smash those buttons below to join the Doug Zone family where we're always talking Oregon football. Also, guys, at Doug Zone 503, simple search on Instagram or Twitter to get the quickest Oregon football updates from me. All things recruiting, all breaking news, final scores, crystal balls, all that good stuff about Oregon football. If you want the quickest updates from me, at DuckZone503 on Instagram and Twitter. Really appreciate everybody who really spends the time to lock in, subscribe, like the videos, share the videos. I love the way we're growing on this channel. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the season, okay, guys? So we got the Utah game, Beaver game, and then bowl game. By the end of the season, I hope to hit 500 subscribers. Can we do it? If you're watching, you're not subscribed yet, smash those buttons right now. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. We got number 10, Utah, 8-2 on the season, 6-1 in conference play, at number 12, Oregon, who is now 8-2 on the season, 6-1 in conference play. Game is being played in Autzen Stadium, 7:30 kickoff time, where Oregon comes in as a 3-point favorite at the time of this recording. As you know, this is your Thursday episode where we do our preview and prediction on the upcoming game. So let's get into it and preview the Utah Utes. So Oregon's a 3-point favorite coming in, although ESPN gives Utah a 51.8% chance to win. So what does that tell you? This is going to be a very competitive, close game. This is pretty much a toss-up game when the experts come to call it. This is the fourth top 25 matchup at Autzen this year. If you're a season ticket holder like me, man, this has been an awesome year to go to games. Last year, I had season tickets. I mean, the games were close when they really shouldn't be. We should have dominated the opponents we played last year at Autzen. And, yeah, big-time matchup after big-time matchup. And we got another one for the finale, so let's go. As you know, this is a big-time revenge game for Oregon. Utah beat Oregon twice last year. Wasn't even close in either contest. They beat the Ducks at home, and then they beat them in the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas. This game is a night game, 7:30 kickoff. Let's go. As you know, on this show, I am a huge fan of the night games. I come from Portland, Gresham to be exact, come out from there. And it takes me about 2.5 hours to get out there. So when we got these night games, man, it gives me plenty of time to pack up in the morning, plenty of time to get up and get out there and have plenty of time to tailgate while I'm out there. So love the 7:30 kickoff times. I'm a young dude. I could stay up all night. So really love it. All right. So all time in this series against Oregon and Utah. Oregon leads the series, 23 wins, 12 losses, pretty much a dominant record there. Utah joined the Pac-12 about a decade ago. And since Utah joining the Pac-12, Oregon is 5-4 versus Utah. In that stretch of 9 games there have been 2 Pac-12 championship games played. In 2019, Oregon beat Utah pretty good, 37-15 to win a Pac-12 championship there. And then, as you know, last year in 2021, Utah beat the Ducks 38-10 in the Pac-12 championship to earn their Pac-12 championship last year. So this game, as you know, is being played in Autzen. And bear with me, I got to take a drink of water, guys. Still battling that cold a little bit. It's getting better, but still dry a little bit. Plus, I got the heat going in my house, so. All right, so look, games being played in Autzen Stadium all time against Utah in Autzen. The Ducks are 12-5 all time at home against Utah. So really good stat there for the Ducks. This is the first time Utah has played in Autzen Stadium since 2017, where the Ducks won that game 41-20. So it's been a good 5 years since Utah has experienced Autzen. I don't think any of these players on Utah's team has experienced a full sellout crowd in Autzen Stadium. As you know, though, Utah's won the last two matchups all last year. Regular season win for Utah 38-7. And then in the Pac-12 championship, as I just said a little bit ago, Utah won 38-10 there. Now, in those matchups last year, I on this channel, I'm not the one to make excuses. Matter of fact, a lot of Duck fans call me pessimistic. I call myself a realist. I'm a Duck fan, but I'm also real about things. But look, guys, Oregon had half of their scholarship players out due to injury in those Utah games. On top of that, you got the whole coaching staff with Mario Cristobal and that whole staff that were halfway in, halfway out on this team already. You knew talks with Miami were going down at that point in time. And, when you don't have leadership at the top, you basically don't have a team, especially with a team full of 18 to 22, 23, 24-year-olds. I mean, it's hard to have a good team when there's just you don't know what your coach is going to do. A lot of transfer decisions were made in that time as well. But as you know, after this year, head coach Dan Lanning comes in, brings his staffs in, inherits great talent that Mario Cristobal and his staff left behind. And, it's been a tear for Oregon this week. They've been really good. Before last week, we were once again sitting right outside that college football playoff picture. And let me remind you, this is year one of Dan Lanning. And we still are in the driver's seat for a Pac-12 championship game. And if we win that, we're on the way to the Rose Bowl. So big things still on the line for the Ducks and Dan Lanning. Oregon has improved drastically offensively since the Utes have last seen the Ducks. Oregon averages 519 yards per game. That's good for second in all of college football. Averaging 7.2 yards per play. That's good for number 2 in all of college football. Averaging just under 40 points at 39 points per game, number 8 in college football. So top 10 offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham has came in and really done some great things with Bo Nix at the helm. Big thing to watch. Bo Nix went out late in that Washington game. One of the reasons why, a big reason why that Washington was able to stuff Oregon on their side of the field and get that late field goal and get out of Austin Stadium with a win last week, was because Bo Nix was out for a drive, and it was the drive that Oregon had the ball late to go up in the game. Unfortunately, things didn't go well for Oregon last game, and they lost to the Huskies, got upset. Still a lot to play for the Ducks. A lot of things that has been a struggle for Oregon, especially last year against Utah, was defense. Well, sadly, the struggles have still been there for Oregon this year. They're allowing about 28.9, basically 29 points per game, let's call it. That's good for number 80 in all of college football, allowing 421 yards per game, number 98 in college football. And worst of all, they have not improved on third down defense, allowing 49.5% opponents to convert third down, number 127th in all of college football. And that is pretty much the stat that killed Oregon last year against Utah. I mean, I think in that first game, I think Utah was something like 90% on third down. So if Oregon wants to win this game, they're going to have to drastically improve on that stat, which they have not looked good all season. So let's go ahead and preview Oregon's season real quick. The Ducks are 8-2, 6-1 in conference play. They started the season at number 3 Georgia. I say at, and they call it a neutral site game, but no way is that a neutral site game when you go to Atlanta, Georgia to play that game. As you know, everybody knows in the college football world, they lost that game pretty handily, 49-3. Georgia was all over the Ducks in that game. The Ducks come home against Eastern Washington, win that game 70-14. They win 41-20, number 12 BYU. That was a big win for the Ducks, first top 25 win in Autzen in a while there. Win 44-41 at Washington State. And then we have excuse me, guys, sorry. And we have a win 45-27 against Stanford. We have a win 49-22 at Arizona. We got a win 45-30 at home against number 9 UCLA. That was a big top 10 matchup there. Game day was in town for that one. That was big. Win 42-24 at Cal. win 49-10 at Colorado. Oregon was on a 8-game win streak before losing last week 37-34 against number 25 Washington. All right, I'm gonna take this drink of water, clear my throat real quick, guys. Just one moment. I'm gonna hit the pause button and I'll be right back. Guys, we're back. So let's do it. We're going to go ahead and preview Utah now, just like how we previewed the Ducks. Quick preview of the Utah season. Utah is also 8-2, 6-1 in conference play. They started the season going to the Florida Gators in the Swamp. Never an easy place to play there, where they lost 28-6. Narrow loss there. Cam Rising threw a late pick, which put Florida on top there. So big congrats on both teams, Oregon and Utah, going down to the South and playing some really good teams on the road to start out their season. Unfortunately, both came out short there. They come home against Southern Utah, just like the Ducks. They hang out 70-pointer, 73-7 win there. Next game, San Diego State at home. They won 35-7 there. Win 34-13 at Arizona State. Win 42-16 against Oregon State. And this is they get a conference conference loss here, 42-32 at number 18 UCLA. That was a pretty bad loss for Utah, not a good showing. But ever since then, they've been on a tear. They won a close one, 43-42, in a shootout game against number 7 USC. So they have proven they can beat really good teams in this conference, no doubt. Win 21-17 on the road against Washington State. A whole load of injuries for Utah that game, and they still come out on top on the road against Washington State in a tough game there. Win 45-20 at home against Arizona, and then a win 42-7 dominant win over Stanford. So, Utah is definitely on a tear here. Really improved drastically after that UCLA win. Kyle Whittingham and that coaching staff has this team rolling with 4 wins in a row. Looking for number 5 in Autzen this Saturday. On offense, Utah is led by quarterback Cam Rising. This season, Cam Rising has thrown for about 2,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a QBR of 87.1. That is top 5 in college football. So very effective, very efficient quarterback and Cam Rising. He can definitely run and pass the ball very efficiently as well. Cam Rising is definitely a weapon. They return their bulldozer running back Tavion Thomas, who has 123 carries, 632 yards, averaging 5.1 yards per carry, and has 7 touchdowns on the season. Well below his pace, needed to reach his 1,000-yard carry season last year. He had 21 touchdowns as well last year, but he's still a violent runner, bulldozer of a running back. Tavion Thomas, is definitely a weapon for the Utes this year. Last year, Rising was really able to pass over the middle all year, pretty much all year, and against the Ducks all game. Well, Utah has another dangerous weapon this year. The number 1 weapon for Rising this season is tight end Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid this season has 50 receptions for 649 yards and 7 touchdowns. In the past matchups, as you know, Oregon has really struggled defending good pass catching tight ends. I mean, you've seen it against Georgia. It was really a struggle for them. Sadly, this season, the pass defense has been a struggle as well. And I'm sure that area on the field on defense, that is something that will be for sure shored up by Dan Lanning through recruiting. No doubt. Dalton Kincaid, the Utah tight end, leads the nation in reception yards with 649 yards on the season. On the other side of the ball for the Utes defense, they are led by one of the best defensive backs, if not probably the best defensive back that Oregon has faced all year, in Clark Phillips. Clark Phillips has 21 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 3 pass breakups this season. Those stats are pretty low. He still has 5 interceptions because teams are pretty much avoiding throwing his direction all game. Clark Phillips is definitely going to be a first rounder in the NFL draft. And overall, Utah defensively is a top 25 defense. They're holding opponents to about 21.4 points per game. That's number 26 in college football. Yards per game, about 355 yards per game. That's number 34 in college football. And they're getting teams off the field on third down. Teams are only averaging 34.6% on getting a conversion rate on third down. So it's good for number 32 in all of college football. So really, really effective top 25 defense for Utah here with a first round corner on their side. All right, guys. So as you know, in the preview prediction episodes, I always like to give my 3 keys to the game. Here's my 3 keys to the game against Utah. Number 1, this was number 1 last week as well, which Oregon really didn't even force third downs. But number 1 is get off the field on third down. So Oregon is almost dead last in college football in third down defensive conversion rate. Last year, Utah pretty much killed Oregon in the stat category all game. Getting off the field in this one will be a big key. Number 2, I have rushed for over 250 yards. Utah allows only 130 rushing yards a game. Oregon finished with 320 yards rushing last game, and they're one of the best. They have one of the best O-lines and some of the best running backs in the conference with Noah Whittington and Bucky Irving at the helm. I think they can win this game if they definitely rush for over 250 yards. It'll be tough to do, but I think they can do it. Number 3, I say be +2 in the turnover battle. So this Utah offense is very tough to stop. They're very efficient. They don't turn the ball over. They get positive yards. They don't allow Cam Rising to get sacked. I think forcing 2+ turnovers will almost guarantee an Oregon win in this game, especially being at home with the crowd that's going to be at hand. All right, prediction time. So what do I think is going to happen in this game against number 10 Utah at number 12 Oregon? It's going to be a big time game, top 25 matchup in Autzen Stadium. Utah's coming in red hot, guys. Okay, they're playing some of the best football in the conference and all around on offense and defense. They're playing really well. Utah is only one of 6 Power 5 teams who are in the top 25 nationally on offense and defense statistically. So Utah's playing really good all around. Really complete team, probably the most complete team Oregon has seen since Georgia, to be honest with you. This has always been the game that everybody has circled as an Oregon fan, the toughest game other than Georgia. Utah's led by Cam Rising with Kyle Whittingham in his 18th season at Utah, and they're coming in with a very efficient offense, very hard to stop on third down as well, which Oregon struggles with. While Oregon is coming off an emotional, close loss to their rival Washington, okay, where really, again, in that game, okay, they showed me they could not stop a thing against a good offense, okay? When they play a good offense, it's hard for them to stop things, okay, as a Duck defense. For me, all the signs point to a Utah win here for me, okay? Dan Lanning in year 1 versus Kyle Whittingham in year 18. Okay, I know Oregon is considered the slight favorite at home, but the Ducks just showed me that they could still get beat at home, unfortunately. To be honest, at this point in the season, I think you are who you are. I'm not sure how much more this pass defense can improve. I'm not sure how much more this pass rush can improve for Oregon. And both have been, below average, so to speak, to put it nicely, statistically for Oregon. I think Cam Rising will be able to move the ball at will against this Oregon defense. I think Clark Phillips will pretty much take away the number 1 weapon for Bo Nix, which is Troy Franklin. I think he'll be on him all game. If you're Nix, I think it's safe to avoid throwing his direction. And I have a close game in the first half. I do. I think Ducks probably might lead it in the first half, but then I think Utah, being efficient and effective as they are on offense and defense, I think Utah will pull away in the second half. For a final score prediction, I got Utah 42, Oregon 32 in this one. As a Duck fan, I hope I'm wrong, but we keep it real on this show. I go off what I see at this point of the season. Oregon has not shown me that they can give me enough confidence to really pick them in this game against a complete team as Utah. I think they're probably going to be the second best team they'll play all season. Utah's a veteran-led team who's red hot, especially. That's another thing going into my pick, guys. They have 4 wins in a row since their loss against UCLA on the road where they did not play well. And they've really played well ever since then, especially defensively. So I think, until Oregon shows me they can stop an efficient pass offense, I'll take Utah on this one. I got a final score prediction of Utah 42, Oregon 32 here. As you know, I'll be at the game. Okay, this is the final home game. So if you guys see me, say what's up. Always love talking to you guys who view the channel, and have great discussions with you guys. Shout out the vlog. Okay, I was at the Washington game. If you guys haven't seen that vlog already, have all the other vlogs. I was at the Georgia game as well, week 1. So have all those vlogs on this channel. If you guys enjoy content like this, really appreciate you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Really appreciate that, guys. Also, social medias, guys, as you know, at DuckZone503, Instagram and Twitter. That's where to go follow me for all the Oregon updates. And yeah, so Saturday, I'll see you guys at the game live in person. And then Tuesday, I'll be back for my recap and analysis episode on this game. So check back Tuesday on the channel. Make sure to check back on Monday for the vlog. Really appreciate you guys. We got a big matchup, top 25 matchup, number 10 Utah at number 12 Oregon this weekend. As always, guys, it's always go Ducks over here. You guys know what it is. Go Ducks, baby. I'll see you guys Saturday.